What's going on, guys? GZTV, and here in about 20 minutes I'm going to have to head out to class, so I just wanted to get a early video out. I actually got my first class of the day got canceled, so I kind of had some time to relax and get some homework done and stuff like that, so I'll be able to watch Monday Night Football, and we'll have a Fortnite stream on the Twitch channel, GZTV Live on Twitch, all lowercase, if you guys want to go check that out, from like 3 o'clock, no, like 3:15 to probably like 6 o'clock or 5:15 or like in that range. That's probably when I'm going to end stream. But today we have the third episode of season 3 of The Walking Dead, Walk With Me. Very interesting episode as it only focuses on one part of the storyline. We are kind of split between two groups. You know, we have Michonne and Andrea, and then we have the rest of the group with the prisoners. So that's kind of where we are at, and the prison is not even touched upon in this episode, which is probably why The Walking Dead is such a long series, because they take a lot of breaks and they go into different storylines, which is obviously needed when you have a split screen thing going on, and there's not a lot of emphasis being put on Michonne and Andrea, because soon I think they're going to be really important in the series, from what I remember watching. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff happens in this episode. We find out what happened to one of the former group members that went missing, and you guys should know who I'm talking about. So yeah, Michonne and an ailing Andrea witness a military helicopter crash into a nearby forest. So that's kind of what happens at the beginning of the episode. I mean, at this point in the apocalypse, no one thinks there's any hope for civilization. So the fact that they're seeing a helicopter crash, it's like there's signs that there's like military people out there at least trying to help us. So that's great. And Michonne is a very like stone-hearted, cold heart. I don't even know. She is like a very cold, very stony, like Medusa like personality. I don't know. Like she has a weird character, but it's a great character for an apocalypse. She's the one that like really protects Andrea here. They find all but one of the crew died, and the survivor Wells badly injured, and they're not going to go investigate. Well, they were. On hearing the approach of vehicles, Michonne, her enslaved walkers, and Andrea hide nearby, because they're like, hey, look, there's even more civilization. We're going to see what they have to do with it. So yeah, I mean, this is stuff that the people at the prison are not aware of, that there's actually people like this out there still alive and still fighting this infection, and protecting people. They observe a group of men rescue Wells and execute the other crewmen as they reanimate. Now, these two don't know this, but if you die, no matter what happens, you're infected, and they don't learn that until later on in this episode. So they're kind of watching people murder people in cold blood is pretty much what they are watching. Michonne's walkers make noise that alert the men to their presence, and though Michonne decapitates the walkers to stop them, Michonne and Andrea are captured, and there's a big tense moment where we're like, oh my goodness, who just captured them? And then we find out. Andrea is surprised one of the men is Merle. Obviously we know who Merle is. We haven't seen him since the first season. Obviously we saw him in a vision from Daryl being like hurt in the woods, but that's about it. Daryl's brother, who Rick's group had left handcuffed to piping atop an Atlanta skyscraper. We don't really need that context. We've all been wondering what happened to Merle Dixon, and now that storyline is closed. He is still alive. So, I mean, knowing how badass, how like tough, how alpha male, how like testosterone driven the character of Merle Dixon is, I'm not that surprised. I do think I remember him living. I don't remember this storyline all that much, which we're going to get into in a little bit. Merle was able to escape by sawing off his own hand, which we know because we saw his hand on the rooftop, which he has replaced with a makeshift bayonet prosthetic, which is pretty badass, and it's probably going to make for some badass moments in this series. I cannot wait. So Andrea faints from the shock, which is fucking weird and cliche of The Walking Dead to put this in. I'm not sure why they did it. I don't know. It looked kind of stupid. These are some of the moments that make the show look dramatic and hated by some people. They're taken to Woodbury, a well-supplied, fortified town and sanctuary for around 70 survivors, which is actually insane. I do not remember this whole town storyline all that much when I originally watched the show. But this is definitely not where I stopped the first time I watched this. So after securing away their weapons, Merle interrogates them, explaining how he found his way from Atlanta to Woodbury, and how he's become the right-hand man to the governor, who we are introduced in this episode. He is played by David Morrissey, the man who runs Woodbury, and everyone kind of looks at him as their Rick of the group that Andrea once was a part of, so she kind of knows what it's like to have an authoritative figure and go by his rules and not cross him, that sort of thing. Andrea recounts her own escape from the Green farmstead and separation from Rick's group, for whom Merle still holds contempt. Obviously, he's going to hold that over their heads for a very long time, and who knows if they're ever going to meet again, but yeah, I mean, you can't just leave a guy handcuffed on the roof no matter what he did to their group. I mean, I think that was kind of fucked up. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Merle's character. He's definitely an asshole. He's definitely like the heel character, not a character you're supposed to like in this series, but still. So yeah. She tells him about what happened after Atlanta. They find a farm, they get overrun in their former camp, and they get overrun at the farm, and now she's on her own with Michonne, pretty much. They later meet the governor, who offers to let them stay. He's like, look, we can provide for you. We need more people to fight off this. I mean, we saw how you guys have weapons and stuff. You could help us. Michonne is uneasy and asks for her weapons back so they can leave, but Andrea wants to learn more about the town. So obviously Andrea and Michonne are very split about this whole ordeal. Because on one hand, Michonne is like, look, I can't trust these people. These are just random strangers that had guns pointed to us. I mean, come on now. Even your own guy that you knew before, Merle, had a gun pointed to you. And Andrea's like, look, let's give it a chance. We need a break. We've been out nomading it up for so long now. Over breakfast, the governor introduces them to Milton, played by Dallas Roberts, another character introduced, his chief advisor, and attempts to learn more about Rick's group from them using his charisma. So obviously he's like the brains of the group. He has the best judgment out of everybody. He's like the smart guy. Michonne remains aloof and warns Andrea of her distrust for the governor, but Andrea thinks Woodbury is safe. She's like, look, they have a safe haven. They have 73 people here. They've had an upkeep of some time. Meanwhile, the governor has interrogated Wells, learning that he was from a National Guard refugee camp located a short distance away from Woodbury. So, the governor has no, soft feelings for this Wells guy. He's like, man, where are you from? Who are your guys? The camp had recently been overrun, and Wells and a few other National Guardsmen were the only survivors. So the governor promises Wells he will send men to locate any survivors, get any supplies, bring them back for the camp. After the breakfast with Andrea and Michonne, the governor joins his men as they locate the camp, and he literally tells them exactly where it is. They ambush and kill the survivors and steal all the useful supplies. So this is when we first know that, hey, this governor guy is really up to no good. He's got a very unjust, a very immoral way of running things. On returning to Woodbury, the governor tells the town that the camp had already fallen to walkers and stresses the importance of a fortified camp like Woodbury, so he's pretty much lying to them. And we see some back stuff behind the scenes from the governor here at the end. The governor is shown going into his private rooms and sitting in a chair looking upon a number of tanks containing walker heads, including those of Michonne's enslaved walkers and of Wells. So we figure out that they kill Wells. And at first, when I was first watching this episode, I was not sure what that was, but it's like, yep, they killed Wells. So yeah, he's kind of an asshole, let's be honest. He only wants his group to succeed and no one else. So who knows what's going to happen to Michonne and Andrea if they stay there any longer. Not a very critically acclaimed episode. Again, some of these recent episodes haven't been so. It's a well-received episode, but not a lot of people are talking about it. I mean, it's an A- on the AV Club, a pretty big critical company. 8.6 out of 10 on IGN. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. I think this is a good episode. I think it opens up for a big storyline that's about to happen. Will Andrea and Michonne trust the governor and stay with? I know Michonne still doesn't trust him. Or will they leave and even stumble upon the survivors at the prison? Who knows? We will figure it out. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been Cheesy TV, reviewing your favorite TV shows. This is my only YouTube video for the day. Tomorrow we're going to have This Week in the NFL and a Better Call Saul review, so stay tuned for that. I mean, if good music comes out this week or in the coming weeks, I will definitely have music reviews. That's what this channel was run on. But I don't have anything else to say. Have a good rest of your guys' day. Catch me on Twitch